Hi, this video is part of my complete Helm course. The link is in the description of this video, so make sure to give a thumbs up, and if you don't want to miss any updates, subscribe to the channel. That being said, let's get started. Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, I want to take our templates one step further, and I want to remove the references here to this static string nginx. I want to introduce both the .release top level field and the .chart top level field. So here, instead of naming our deployment with just nginx, what we will actually do here is we're going to combine both information coming from our release top level object and from our chart top level object. So the first thing is we will get the release.name, and that will be the name of the installation. So when we run here helm install local-nginx, then this value here, the local-nginx, becomes the release.name inside of our templates. We also have the option to retrieve the name of the chart via the .chart.name value like so. And this here will not be populated with the release name, but instead it will be populated with the value coming from the name here in the chart.yaml file. So effectively, what this will be resulting in is in local-nginx-nginx. This is a little bit duplicate, I admit that. However, it is important that we add this information here to make it easier for users to differentiate. If we were to just add here the chart.name, for example, to leave it as nginx like so, then this will actually not work for us. And I will quickly show you why. So let's just leave it here. Let's remove the comment here. Let's then save this. And let's now install local nginx like so. And I'm missing here, sorry for that, I'm missing just the directory. That's going to install our local nginx. And now let's try to install it once again. And the moment we do that here, you will see that it will start throwing some errors because, well, the service nginx service already exists. So it's not even getting to the deployment, right? So let's change here. Let's, instead of the name, let's use our .chart.name here. -svc, but hopefully this already shows you the problem I'm trying to show. And that's exactly what happens once again. We are not able to go through here because the nginx svc service already exists and it cannot be imported into the current release. So since the names here of services and of deployments, they must be unique in a specific Kubernetes namespace, then we do need to consider what happens when our users try to install the same chart multiple times. Let's revert the changes here. Let's now uninstall our local nginx. So let's just clear here helm list just to make sure we have just one local nginx installed. Let's then uninstall this with helm, not kubectl, sorry, helm uninstall, and then the release name here. Now that's uninstalled, perfect. And now let's add here once again our release. We're going to add the release information, .release.name, and then the .chart.name. This is ensured to be unique because you cannot have two releases with the same name with helm. Right, so here another cool thing, let's just hover over the .release object here, and if you have the Helm extension in VS Code, then you will also see that there are several built-in values that you can use. So it's definitely good to keep in mind that we have access to a lot of information coming from this .release top level object. Let's use the same strategy of combining this information here for our labels as well, of both our deployment as well as our match labels here and the template labels. So the app, we will still use the chart.name, but as you might have guessed, this is not enough, particularly when we are talking about our match labels here. And that's because if we install this twice in our Kubernetes environment, then we might actually end up with both deployments having the exact same match labels here. And this would ideally be unique so that each deployment is actually controlling its own pods with its own replica set. So we're going to add the release information here, and that's just going to be .release.name like so. Right, so now here we will know that this is controlled by this specific release, and we will also copy this and paste it here so that this is added to the pods. If you wish to add the additional label release here to our labels of our deployment, that's also perfectly fine. And just to highlight that this will also be included as an annotation by default by Helm. But I just want to include it here in the match labels, just so that we make it clear and that we avoid any overlap if we were just using the chart name. You can also combine both pieces of information here by adding it like so, or you can also come up with other strategies to make sure that the match labels and the labels here in our template, they remain unique across different installations of the same chart. I'm gonna leave that to you to actually think about how it would be a suitable solution for your use case. I'm just gonna go with this approach here. Let's also update the name of the service. We still have a few things here in our service that we need to change. And I believe here I did move a few things. So let's change the name of our service. I'm just going to copy what we have here. Let's then paste in the service here and let's add a -svc at the end. The labels here we're going to use exactly the same. Let's just copy these and let's paste it here. And for the selector, we will also do the same. Let's then save this. Let's come back to the terminal here. Let's clear the screen and now we're going to install. So Helm install local nginx like so, and let's install our local nginx chart. This is installed. We're now installing it once again. Now we have no problems with the installation. Everything is fine here. And now if we get the pods, we will see that we have 6 pods because we have left our replica count here at 3. So we have 6 pods in our namespace. And as you can see here, the hashes are different, right? So if we were to now have a look at the deployments, then we'll see that we have 2 different deployments here, or actually let's have a look at the replica set. And we will see that we have 2 different replica sets. If we were to describe a pod, let's now have a look here, describe pod, and we're going to pass this. Let's take the 3rd pod here. Let's just describe the pod, and we will see under the labels of the pod that we have the app nginx and the release local nginx. If we now describe here yet another pod from the 2nd installation, so let's go with this pod here. Let me clear the pod name, paste it here. Let's scroll up. We will see that the release is going to be local nginx 2. You will also see that there are no annotations at the pod level. However, if we were to have a look at the deployment, and let's describe now our local nginx deployment. So kubectl, describe, deployment, local nginx, you will find the annotations from Helm. So as you can see, these annotations here, they are not automatically propagated to underlying resources that are managed by the deployment or its underlying replica set. Perfect. So in this lecture here, we managed to remove the hard-coded nginx strings from our deployment and service files. We can also change the name of the container here if you wish to do so. But for me here, it's already good enough if we leave it like this. And then here we can also confirm that we were able to remove the nginx values from our service. As you can also see, we were able to make sure that these values here, the names are unique and that we can install multiple versions or multiple releases of our chart. That's a great moment for us to take a short break. So let's just clear the screen here. Let's take a short break and I'll see you in the next lecture.